Hey there, everyone. This is Ryan Schul. Thanks for coming to my channel again. If this is your first time here, then welcome for the first time. So in the project today, I want to talk about how to automatically create a Google event calendar, right? And imprint this onto your Google Calendar based on a few criteria. So you'll have a date, a time for a meeting, right? An invite for a meeting, and the details of the meeting, maybe a link to Google Meet. There's a nice web service called Google Meet. I'm a big fan of this. I've used, what is it called? Microsoft Teams a few times and never had any success with that thing. It's always either the video doesn't work or the audio doesn't work or neither one works and you're talking to a two-dimensional black box. It's just like a black rectangle. Nobody's there. Nobody shows up for the meeting. I don't know what's going on with that thing. Maybe it's some setting on my computer. I don't know. I've never figured it out, but I've had uh, countless invites for Microsoft Teams meetings. These things almost never work for me, and I'm trying to interview for jobs. I've lost dozens of job opportunities just because the thing doesn't work, and I can't get it to work. I don't know what's going on with that. Google, on the other hand, always works. I'm a big fan. I just got an invite from a recruiter yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. Today is August 9th, 2025. Got an invite from recruiter yesterday. Clicked the link, boom, automatically went into my Google calendar, right? So, and all the meeting details were all set up automatically. All I had to do was click a link. So that motivated me to think, like, how is this seamlessly done? How do you actually create a calendar link, invite, so easy, so effortlessly? I could almost like just blink at it and it's done. I actually had to click the link, but you know what I mean? It's very, very easy. Microsoft Teams is almost impossible to use. It just doesn't work. I don't know what these guys are doing over there, but the thing just doesn't work on my computer. Maybe there's some setting, maybe something isn't configured right. I don't know, but the thing just doesn't work. And I'm a big fan of Microsoft. I used Excel for like 25 years. I've used Microsoft Access. I'm sorry, guilty as charged. I know that's old technology, but I used that for many, many years. SQL Server, big fan. Microsoft Word, I've written many macros to automate all these things, all the Excel programming, VBA for Office, for what Word. I've written maybe 100 Word macros, thousands of Excel macros, thousands of Access macros, written SQL Server scripts, and automate all kinds of tasks in SQL Server. So I'm a big fan of Microsoft, okay? So don't get me wrong, but Teams just doesn't work. Anyways, so how does Google make all this work seamlessly? So I did some research yesterday and they came up with this. These are my notes. Let me start with the notes. This time I'm going to do it a little bit backwards. I'm going to start with the notes and just show you what you need to do. So basically, you have to get a credential file. It's called credential.json, just as this is JavaScript object notation. So you go to the Google Cloud Console. Once you're logged into your Google account, you can just Google for that. You can Google for Google, right? It's very convenient. Google Cloud Console, right? And you have to set this up. If you've never set this up, this is your first time ever doing this, then yeah, you have to set up the console. Log in, create it, it's totally free. If you use the services a lot and you do a lot of API call requests or fetching to their different APIs, I use Google Maps quite a bit. I've used that quite extensively, actually. Google Mail, and send up all kinds of automation tasks. What is this thing to it? All kinds of automation tasks. And all kinds of things. So I do have an account. If you don't have it, you have to set that up if this is your first time doing it. But it's no biggie. Most of these things are free or very, very low cost to use these types of things, right? You have to set the account if it's your first time using it, and then you have access to all these fantastic tools in the Google suite, okay? And I'll tell you, using Google, GCP, Google Cloud Platform for many years, AWS, I was a consumer of AWS, Amazon Web Services. That's actually the abbreviation for my son's name, Asher Wick Shul, AWS, Amazon Web Service. Just coincidentally, it's the same thing. And Azure, a big fan of these things. I've worked with a lot of clients that don't use these things. They really hate these things. They don't want to pay, or they don't know what it is, or they're not interested. So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. If you don't care about that, that's fine. That's your own business. I like these things. I like it I think adds a lot of value. If you don't think so, that's great. We're in different camps, okay? So I set up the Google Calendar API yesterday. This is my first time using it. I just did a little basic research and came up with this, right? So I actually have, I think, one single hit right over here. You can see I only used this one time yesterday afternoon. So here's the hit that I have. Every time you use these services, right, it'll keep track. This is a time series report of all the call requests or the fetching that you're doing with these different APIs, right? This is what mine looks like. So yeah, you'll go into the console. You have to go to APIs and services. That's what I just did. Hit enable services, right? For Google Calendar API, mine is already enabled. So it's going to look a little bit different than yours if this is your first time doing it. If you don't have this set up, and you probably don't, right? If it's set up, you only set this up once. If it's set up, then your view is going to look a little bit different from mine. You can search for over here. So Google Calendar, right? Hit enter, and you'll pick the first one, Google Calendar API. And again, they have all kinds of APIs for maps, for services. They have Google Places and Google whatever it is. There's all kinds, there's hundreds of these things, right? So this is API enabled. If it's not enabled, you have to click it, right? So mine might look a little bit different than yours. Just enable it. Go ahead and click that just to get that set up. Create credentials. You choose auth, original authentication client ID. I guess that's what it stands for. I'm not too sure. Auth client ID. You'll click that. So if you go back here, sorry, I need water. If you don't have that set up, yeah, mine's looking a little bit different now. So go over here to authentication, right? Once it's authenticated, then you're going to have access to all these APIs and all the services that they provide, right? So mine's enabled. Mine's going to look a little bit different than yours. Choose external, fill basic information, and then just save it, okay? So there's a couple of steps. Just follow my notes, and you're going to get there. Again, I did this already, so mine's going to look a little bit different than yours. You do it once, and then you're done. You're set up, and it's good to go. Choose application type, desktop application, name it whatever you want. Click create, and you'll see a JSON button pop up. Now, when the JSON button pops up, so I can't do this, right, because I've already done this. It's going to pop up right there. It comes up. It's pretty obvious. Just download that, save that to your desktop, okay? So whatever you want to name it, you can name it anything you want. It's going to come with an extension .json. Again, this is JavaScript object notation. So it's come straight from GCP. This is the Google Cloud Platform. Once it's downloaded, you have credentials.json. Okay, this is why I named it. So this name right here is going to come with this kind of crazy long name. It's going to have a whole bunch of weird characters. That is identified with you. That's going to be a unique identifier for your JSON file. Okay, so I renamed that credentials.json. Keep the extension the way it is, .json. You can name this whatever you want. I had this crazy long thing. Again, that's a unique identifier. It could look like this. It could look kind of like this right here, right? So do you really want to name that thing that? If you want to, you can. It's up to you. You can change the name to be anything you want. I think it makes a little bit more sense to rename it just to something that's more consumable, more digestible, more like human nature, right? If you want to call it this .json, by all means, you can do that, but I think you should make it something meaningful and something that actually has a purpose and like a real intention. So here's my code. This is what I did for my research. You'll have Google Calendar, right? You have a couple basic libraries that you import at the beginning. We're looking for a token.json. This is the name of the file. Again, once you click that last step, it's going to pop up the button. You download that file, save it to wherever you want. I put mine on my desktop. You can put it on a server machine, right? If you have rights to the server, you go fetch that file. That's one way to do it. You can keep it local. Mine is local. So you just have some basic UDFs over here. This is the user-defined function. It's called Get Calendar Service. I just did some research on this yesterday. Pretty easy. Just Google for this stuff. It's pretty easy to set up. The only thing you're going to have to change is this right here, the location to your file, and then calendar, right? This is called the calendar application. This is the app, and then create event. So you'll have to put in the date and the time. So this comes from now today is 8/9/2025. So August 9, 2025, I'm going to create an event for tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. So it's using military time. This is 1500 hours. Tomorrow is a Sunday, and it's going to go until 1600 hours. So the event goes for 1 hour. So when the recruiter sent this to me, that was my motivation for creating this thing, right? I was inspired to say, like, how is this so easy? How is this so effortlessly done? So you will have to create a couple events or a couple criteria here, right? But you can get all of this automatically from the email or from the invite or like whatever a person selects. So interact with a web page or some kind of API service or some kind of web-based service on the server, right? It could be server or serverless, which is still a server. I don't know why they call it serverless. It's still a server. Every single thing is a server. Even your desktop or your laptop is a server, if you think about it, right? Anything that has access to the internet is a server. So you'll get all this information dynamically, right? So that's not the big thing. You just have to pick a time, and this is all clickable events, right? You would click on a calendar or some kind of interface. I'm not setting up the interface right now. That's more like a HTML person or maybe a JavaScript expert or something like that. Like I do a lot of data science. I'm a financial professional, right? So I don't set up calendars, but you would get this from the calendar. You get the interface would be the calendar. You download the information or just like fetch the information or extract it, and you have your event. So if I go over here to my actual calendar, I have no event for tomorrow at 3 p.m., but I'm going to create that right now, right? So I'm going to give you all this code. You can copy and paste it. Again, the only thing you're going to have to change is your JSON file. Follow the instructions right here. It's pretty easy. I did a quick Google search yesterday and figured out how all this stuff works in 5 minutes. You can follow the instructions. These are my notes. Hit Control Enter to run the code in the cell. You can see the asterisk over here is running. This is finished. It says create event. So we can either refresh the calendar right here, hit the refresh button. We should see the event tomorrow at 3 p.m. That is it. Project sync meeting. And these are the details. One guest is awaiting. So again, you're going to get all this information from some kind of like web interface. Either a HTML developer is going to set this up, or a JavaScript professional is going to script these things for you. As a data scientist or myself, I'm a finance professional. You're not going to be setting these things up, right? You'll get that automatically. Click here, click there. Everything's done for you. I'm just creating the code to go ahead and to do the fetch, right? We're going to fetch the details from the server. And another way to interact with this is right here. You can click this link. It's going to open up a brand new calendar page and refresh everything for you. So here's the details for the meeting tomorrow. Okay, and I open this up and I see all the details, invite via link. Here's the name, here's the time frame, right? We started with military time, so 1500 hours to 1600 hours. If you look closely, there's the date, there's the time, right? So today is the 9th, tomorrow's the 10th. Meeting goes for 1 hour. And then again, you'll work with a professional to fetch this information, to download all this automatically. So literally, you just click a link. You just click a link right here and you run it. So let me create one more web event. This is going to be exactly the same setup. It gets the credentials from my desktop, right? So this is the JSON, meaning this only helps Python to interact with Google. Without this authentication or authorization, whatever you want to call it, without these credentials set up, you would have to reach out to Google and click and set this up and go through here, go through this menu and go to data access and authorization, authentication over here. I'd have to go back to my project. Okay, click here and then data access. And it's not even really working right now because I go off on some kind of rabbit hole. I went down some kind of rabbit hole over here. So I have to go down to Google authorization platform, overview, Google Cloud. I'm gonna have to go back here. Okay, so I'm back here. So this is identification and access management. I think that's what that stands for. So you go down here and you set this up. Okay, and then we would have to go over here and then identity and authorization and principal account boundaries and setting. There's a lot of things, right? So you don't really want to go through all this stuff every time you set up a calendar invite. You want to do it once, one and done, right? You want to do one and done. That's what this code does. So it bypasses all the authorization, identification, and access management and IAM things, right? So this is done once, it's saved as a JSON file. That's why we do it this way, right? So the only thing you'd have to do is call the JSON script from wherever it's saved, either on your desktop or on the server machine, doesn't matter. You'd set up these credentials. Again, this comes automatically from the calendar. Click here, click there, you're done. Very easy, very basic access. But I'm just creating the code right here to just to showcase or to demonstrate how these things are done, right? To illustrate the point of how this is done. But this would be done much easier with a calendar access, right? So let's create one more event. So I have the first one. This is tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Today is August 9th. So the meeting is for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Let me create one more for the 12th at 1600 hours. So that's 4 p.m. going to 5 p.m. So Control Enter. Control Enter. You can see the asterisk in the upper left-hand corner. It's running. It takes a couple seconds, right? There is a little fetch to the server, reading the credentials, authenticating everything, and that sets up the calendar invite. And I click here, and it's going to open the calendar and refresh everything. And we can see project sync meeting 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. So everything is set up. If I go over here, I can see who's invited to the meeting and then edit the event if I need to do that, right? So here's the details of the meeting, 4 to 5. This is for August 12th. So 3 days from now, the meeting starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and goes for 1 hour. So we can add guests. We can do anything we want. Okay. And so on and so forth. So that's it, guys. So I just wanted to show you how to do some basic research with GCP to get your authorization credentials or authentication, whatever it's called. I don't know what these things are actually called, but you just get the credentials, copy and paste it into your Jupyter notebook, go ahead and run it. And that's it. That's pretty easy, right? Pretty straightforward. And you can do this just by clicking on calendar events and running the script, right? And all this can be automated too. I worked in the automation business for about 10 years. The first 10 years of my career was automating anything you could imagine on Wall Street, like any kind of task, any kind of event. You have to go fetch data, do some transformation, some reporting, some login credentials, authentication, reconciliation, like all these things. I automated thousands and thousands and thousands of tasks for at least 10 years, at least 1 decade. I did that. I kind of got bored and like automated myself out of a job. I automated almost everything you could imagine on Wall Street and then moved on to data science and did some other things as well. So anyways, this is how you automate the entire task of creating a calendar invite, sending that to a job candidate like myself or a recruiter or just a colleague, right? Send it to a colleague and then they can get your calendar invite, accept it, and everything is set up. You see how long it takes to run. It takes about 1 second to do this kind of thing. That's it, right? Once you have your access confirmed and set up, once you have your login credentials refined and everything is set there, click a button and everything is done in 1 second, right? So pretty easy, guys, pretty easy. I'm going to share this code with you. I'm going to download this Jupyter notebook right now. And again, all you'll have to change is this. You will get this file when you follow these instructions down here. These are my notes. Look at the notes, follow this. I tested a couple times. Everything's valid. Everything is straightforward and pretty simple and proven and tested. You would change the file to point to this JSON file. You change the path and you would change the details of the event. And that is it, guys. You're good to go. So that's it. That's the lesson for today. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully that was interesting, inspiring, and intriguing. I learned a couple new things when I was doing this. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two in the process as well. So I'm going to share this code with you. I'm going to drop the video a little bit later today. And that's it. I'm done with my 365 videos in 365 days. I'll do a few more. I'll keep going with these things. I think it's fun. It's interesting. Trying to build up the channel, trying to build up the audience and get more people motivated by automation tasks. Data science, I was in data science for about 12 years. I did automation for about 10 years before that. I'm kind of like hybrid. I'm kind of hybrid mode right now between data science, which does have some automation, but it's a lot of manual tasks too, and automation, which is full automation. It has nothing to do with data science whatsoever. I'm kind of like right on the fence in between these two right now. So I'm going to try to put out some more videos talking about the benefits of automation, how much time you can save. I've talked about this in a couple of my videos. I had a job years ago where I automated one task that took, I think, 22 or 23 people about 1 month to complete. They sat in Buffalo, New York. I figured out what the team did. I automated the task. I could do everything that the entire team did for 23 people in 15 minutes just by clicking the button. Everything is done. Eventually, management found out about the whole thing. They eliminated the department, and my job was eliminated too. So you have to be careful with these things, right? If you know a lot of automation, you can't really tip your hand and say, oh, yeah, we can do the job of 23 people in 15 minutes just because we can click a button. You don't want to really tip your hand and show your cards like that, right? You have to be careful, keep that close to the vest, right? But you want to shine like a superstar and say, hey, I can do a lot of work, accurate, efficient. The bank was reconciling hundreds of billions of dollars. At one point, we lost 54 cents. I didn't get too concerned about that. It's 54 cents that went missing because two accounts had the same ID. I don't know how that happened. That was on the back end. However, accounts are set up and you let two people have unique identifiers for the same account and they got mismatched somehow and we lost 54 cents. I'm not losing any sleep over that. We reconciled hundreds of billions of dollars accurately, except for the 54 cents. I'll never forget that. But yeah, that's a whole nother story for another day. That's it. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I'm going to post a video and share all this code with you guys. This is how to automatically create Google Calendar events using the Google Calendar API. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this thing in its entirety. Hopefully you learned something new. I learned a couple things setting up the code and doing the demo here for you today. So that's it. I'm going to stop it here and I will see you guys when I post the next video, which is going to be pretty soon. Thank you. Goodbye.